Yo guys, what is up? It's Teach here, coming at you again with another Dino a Day review series video, and we are finally on to, yes, this big, terrifying death monster of justice, the Reaper. Yeah, one of my favorite tames in the game, actually. He's certainly top 10. Now, the Reaper, I love him so much because I'm really not a big fan of maps with flyers. I don't know why, so that's why I really like Genesis, really like Aberration. And the Reaper King is kind of like the OP monster of justice, but the benefit is there's actually a counter to him. He's kind of like the Giga of Aberration, but the benefit is, unlike the Giga, there is a counter to him, so you can actually beat him because you just put on light, he's no longer useful at all. So that's kind of just how it works. When it comes to actually doing damage, this guy has a very nice damage output, and I'll kind of just show you that. We'll go ahead and get some XP for him here and show you his base stats. Now, there are some really powerful Reapers out there. This is not one of them because you get the 75 bonus levels. You can easily get these way above where I have him right here. So I'm going to go ahead and level his health up. On official servers, I usually keep mine around 40k. 40k is a very solid number. You can get as high as, I've seen, 70k, 80k on some of these Reapers. So that's pretty crazy. I've seen melee as high as 1300 when people just want to make a melee Reaper. But obviously, sometimes you don't want to do that, so that's entirely up to you. So this is a very standard Reaper that you're seeing right here. And I'll go ahead and give him some health back because I'm going to show you where he's highly useful. Now, there you go. That was the mod Soul Traps, V2 Dino Storage. If you've never seen it, amazing mod. Guy that does it is amazing. So there's all its stats, okay? Nothing super special about it. But what we're going to go ahead and do is I'm going to leave my tribe because I have some turrets set up. And this is where he gets kind of awesome, I think you might want to say. Because he has the ability to take reduced damage from all turrets. And that's just lovely. I'm going to go ahead and, that's mine now. So, anyways, continuing. So there are 3 turrets. We've got a tech, a heavy, and an auto on the far side. Now that I am on this thing, I have to take off God mode because that's just how it works. And yeah, so we're gonna walk up to these turrets. I'm gonna show you that you take reduced damage by them. So normally these techs will give you 450-ish damage, 300 damage depending on what you're riding. Reaper takes obviously quite a bit of reduction there, 150 damage per shot. That's pretty awesome. So a huge reduction, about half on that one. He also takes reduced damage from heavies, which normally do about 450 a shot. 92. Doesn't matter where you get hit, all of the hits are the same on this thing. So you can pretty much soak a turret. I mean, it's very easy just to run up to one of these, put this guy over the top, drop down, drop the C4, and boom, you got yourself an easy kill on that thing. Now, when it comes to autos, they don't even really do damage to this thing. They just do 23 a shot. So yeah, they don't really have any effect on the Reaper. You could just sit and soak an auto turret with this guy all day long. Now, again, you could do the same thing if you're trying to soak a base. You just put this guy over the actual turret, hop off, drop off your C4, run away, and go boom. Pretty crazy. You cannot pull out your weapons while riding this thing, but because of that reduced damage, he's pretty powerful when it comes to turrets. So he's a very popular soaker because when you get that imprint to him as well, you will quite literally have that ability to just, take even less than that. I want to say it's like an extra 20% or something crazy like that. So there is also 3 different, excuse me, 3 different attacks that he has. He has a tailspin attack, one of the most overpowered attacks in the game because he does a full circle, and anything in that full circle takes a ton of damage and gets a huge knockback. So go ahead and check it out. That's a huge knockback. So if you're anywhere near a cliff, 362 damage, and you can just sit here all day and do this tailspin because it takes almost no stamina. So people in a raid defense or in a raid attack will just sit here while someone's trying to come near them with a Giga or something like that and just send them back and send them back. And it's so very frustrating. So that's something that's pretty crazy about these Reapers. For that reason, they've got that tailspin attack. Now, they've also got that primary attack, which is just a bite attack. A lot of people already know about the bite attack. It is something that is, super, super useful, and at the same time, it's not very commonly used because most people will run up to you and use that tail spin to dole a ton of damage because it just does so much. When something is flying away from you, fun fact for you, you can shoot that little green stuff at them, and what it'll do is if you can find a target, it'll do some prediction path about where that target is going to be, and it'll smack them with that little goo. Now, that goo, just so you know, knocks flyers out of the sky. I'll go ahead and show you right here if it'll actually hit this guy. Boop. There it goes. So now he's going out of the sky. And then once they land, they're stunned for like 10-ish seconds. And you just absolutely smoke them. Which is pretty awesome when it comes to this guy because that gives you a huge advantage. If someone's flying a wyvern at you, does the same thing. It's a great thing for OSD defense because you can just shoot this stuff at the wyverns and it'll knock them out of the sky. Wyverns do not even turn very quickly. So if someone is coming after you with a wyvern, you kind of just like do a little bit of a circle and go ahead and shoot your stuff at them when they're there. When they land on the ground, wyverns don't have saddles. Keep that in mind. So you just shred them when they're on the ground. I mean, a lot of times when I kill wyverns, it is because these guys have that crazy awesome ability to do that. Notice how it's got that tracking ability, and it will knock things out of the sky, which is pretty awesome. So pretty neat little ability for that. And because it has that predictive technology, it helps you out. As long as you're aiming in the general vicinity of that creature, it'll kind of give you a little bit of a pathing assistance, which is pretty awesome. It's got a splash effect too, so it will hit quite a bit of stuff nearby. Another thing, yeah, this bad boy can jump. Now you just have to aim where you want to go, and he can jump very, very high. And that's pretty awesome, obviously. He does take a little bit of fall damage, but it makes climbing mountains actually possible with this thing. You just got to find kind of like the right ledge to land on because you can kind of control where you are. So like something like this, I mean, I could literally just go straight up a wall basically with the Reaper, which is pretty OP in my opinion. So you've got that pretty awesome ability. Reaper, you're starting to see why it's one of my favorite tames right now, obviously. You can bite when you are falling. He takes just a little bit of fall damage, not much. It's heavily reduced, so you're not going to take heavy damage. So keep that in mind. But the ability to keep things on the ground is really amazing because you just have to run up and shred city it. Yeah, that knockback is pretty crazy. Anti-damage reduction, which is pretty awesome. And then I haven't even gotten to one of my favorite parts about this guy yet. So if you hop off him, he can bury himself in the ground. Are you not going to be able to bury yourself? Excuse me? Oh, it's one of those glitches where he can't be seen. So you saw right there, he will bury himself in the ground, and it's a great way to hide your loot, because basically, if you have a high weight Reaper, no one can see this little patch but you. So you just take whatever you want. Let's say I want to store all my silica pearls, and I'm like, okay, cool. I'm going to go ahead and drop all my silica pearls, some turrets on my Reaper. Nobody but you can know he's there. Like, no one sees this black stuff there. So you could hide him pretty much anywhere you wanted to. And unless someone's going around with a parasaur, you're not going to have any issues at all with people trying to, you know, actually unbury him. In order to unbury him, you've got to actually have some sort of either Diplo, Wyvern, Tech Glove. It's not easy to do. C4 can. But unburying him yourself, there you go. You come back, your base may have been raided, but your loot is safe on your Reaper. This works especially well for smaller tribes where people don't think to look for Reapers. If someone's going to do a big base attack, like they're attacking monster tribes, they're probably going to be looking for Reapers and stuff like that, just because that's what people do. Perlovias work the same way. Perlovia is another great tame if you haven't seen that one. Pretty cool. But the Reaper with that ability, you can also whip them when they're under the ground. I'll go and show you what I mean by that. Let's go ahead and grab a whip. I have to go into GCM mode in order to do that. And whip. Alright. While they're under the ground, you can wedge them in even better locations because, as you can see, he will take that whip damage under the ground, and you can kind of like control him. Let's say you want to put him underneath a ledge so it's even harder to get to him or harder to access this Reaper. You can do that. So I'll wedge him right underneath this rock over here. You can see this is what I'm trying to do. So I'm going to go ahead and get him as close to that rock as possible. Oh, he popped out. A little too close. But you can bury him right up next to that. So pretty awesome little strategy. easy to accomplish, and the bite attack obviously pretty awesome with this guy as well. Secondary attack will knock things out of the sky like we've talked about. Overall, the Reaper is an amazing tame. It takes heavily reduced damage unless light is nearby, in which case they take heavily increased damage, so that's something that you should keep in mind. Do not have a light pet out when you're using this because you will get absolutely smacked, so don't even bother with that. That ability to slow things, knock things out of the sky, makes them pretty awesome. Storage box, just in general, the Reaper is a great tame to have on every server because people don't typically bring these into PvP, so they don't know what to do in PvP situations when it comes to the Reaper. It makes it very nice to have because they just don't know what to do. Usually people just try and take their gigas and come after you with the Reaper. But a good Reaper will, you know, be able to at least hold your little zone for probably, I don't know, 30-40 seconds to let people escape, or just use that spin attack so they can only get a few hits on you. Pretty crazy stuff. So anyways, pretty awesome little facts about this guy. I love Reapers. You can get some pretty cool colors too, especially on the event weekends. This one's yellow. I just happened to get lucky and spawn in a yellow and black one. I've seen greens, blues, pinks, all kinds of colors. So pretty neato in my opinion. But other than that, hopefully this video helps you out, and hopefully you go get yourself a Reaper because they are great tames. If you haven't seen my video on taming these guys, also really easy to tame them. You just have to know how to do it. All right, teach. Ow.